Hi everybody, welcome back to Avowed RAW. This is episode number 11. I am your host, Joe the Wigit, and I am joined by my fellow co-host, the gunslinger madman himself, Kilo.
There we go. There it is. That's the money right there.
Yep, that was it.
The gunslinger madman. Hell yeah, I'll take that. That's what I am. I'm an absolute madman.
Ever since you've been
crazy.
talking about your play, it seemed to fit.
Yeah, it does. This game's not even hard anymore, man. We'll get into that. We'll get into it.
It is now for me.
Yeah, man.
We'll also get into that because it's been crazy.
Okay.
Trying to get my assassin, my ranged assassin or ranged sniper off the ground, and it's been challenging to say the least. And I wanted to mention the fact that we have been in contact with Obsidian, the community team.
Yes.
So we are talking to them. No interviews as of yet, but we're going to wear them down until we get one for you all.
We just have to convince them how charming we are.
Exactly. They're listening.
Right. Well, you know, they say the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so.
Yeah, we'll wear them down one day. Be like, we got to go on Avowed RAW. That's where it's at right there.
Yeah, see? We'll get here someday. Just because we're not, normal people or, specifically fans of lore doesn't mean that we don't have things to contribute to the community.
Exactly.
Wink.
Yeah, we apologize we couldn't record last week. I was out of town all week for work, and there was no way I could make it back to record. I was busy every night until 8 or 9 p.m. It was just not happening.
It's pretty brutal from what I heard,
Yeah. But I am here. I am back. I got sick over the weekend.
We are here. You got sick?
Yeah. As soon as I got back.
Did you get sick?
That Friday,
I
started feeling like garbage. I think it was just a cold.
Oh, jeez.
Half the people that were in the training got sick with a cold.
Oh, okay.
And I got
I finally caught it over here. I don't get sick very often, but when I do it. It's probably best that we didn't record last week because I was pretty congested and stuff. Not to mention, I switched over to these. I don't vape anymore. I switched over to these Zen nicotine pouches. Have you heard of these?
I have.
They're like these. These are what I'm doing now. So I think the last week has also been my lungs rejecting everything that's been in them for all this time. So I got that on top, and allergies, seasonal allergies here in Michigan are in full swing. So
I was actually considering trying those out. They've been working pretty good for you?
Yeah, just enough. I started right with the level 3s, which is like it's 3 milligrams per pouch, so it's pretty low. But whenever I'm fiending, I just grab one. They've been good. They've been working for me.
Yeah,
that's coming as a truck driver who used to smoke 2 packs a day at one point. So if they're working for me, they can work for anybody.
I still vape once in a while, but mostly when we record. I don't know what it is. It calms me down. But I gotta stop it.
It's the same thing. It is. Well, I mean, I still have these moments every once in a while. Usually when I get in the car first thing in the morning, I go for the vape. And when I sit down to play video games, I usually it's automatic.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the last thing I'm trying to conquer is the hand to mouth thing.
I was playing Obsidian this weekend because I was sick. I played Obsidian because they did the remaster of it.
Oh, you mean Oblivion?
Oblivion. Why do I keep doing that?
Oh, heck yeah.
I keep thinking about going back to the whole idea of turning our Starfield RAW into a Bethesda RAW.
Honestly, I would be on board with that because after listening to you and Archon talk about Oblivion, I want to say it was the last episode of Raw and Nerdy. I kind of want to play it because I haven't played that in like 20 years. It's been a hot minute.
When I did my last Elder Scrolls based podcast years ago, it was like 10 years ago, I tried playing it, but the graphics were so outdated I just couldn't get into it. I like a pretty game, even though one of my favorite games of all time is Minecraft. Oh, yeah. But every time I play Minecraft, which is what I did a lot this weekend, is I put in my shaders, my texture packs, and make it all pretty.
I know what you're talking about. I think I brought this up on Raw and Nerdy when my kids I fired up Skyrim out of nowhere one day, and they're making fun of how outdated Skyrim looked. And then, it'd be like 2-3 days. 2-3 days later, I got all my mods in place. It looks freaking gorgeous.
Oh yeah, they have amazing mods for that.
I started seeing all these screenshots of the new Oblivion. I'm like, oh man, I remember when that came out. It was such a big deal. The way they created the world with the natural. What was that system? Maybe you can help me. The way they created the landscape using like real life simulation, erosion simulation, and stuff like that.
Oh yes, yeah, that's a new
that was such a big, huge deal back then when that was out, and I had a friend bring his Xbox over, and he played it. We played it for a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty awesome. So I would love to revisit that game. So I mean, I'm on board for a Bethesda podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to talk more about that off the air, because I think that could be a really good idea, because they've got a lot of stuff going on. So that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
All right. We're not going to stop Avowed RAW. This is still going. And speaking of which, we're here to talk about Avowed.
We are.
But it doesn't hurt to, chit chat for a little bit before we get into it.
No, we're loose.
So
we're not formal around here.
Yeah. Loosey gooseys.
I was actually, it was interesting because, every week me and you, we go through and we watch the news.
Yep.
And we watch check out YouTube, everything surrounding the game, right? Because we're trying to stay on top of all this stuff. That's part of our job here. And I noticed something that was super interesting when I was going through YouTube. I just typed in Avowed and I just hit search.
Very general.
An interesting phenomenon that I noticed is that there are still a lot of people. I mean, I'm talking like within the last 12 hours, dozens of videos released about Avowed.
Yeah.
Some of them were live plays. Some of them were, this is what I found. Or some of them were just like a couple minutes of, gunplay in Avowed. And it's just all people enjoying Avowed.
It's a blast to play.
It was so refreshing to see that after however a year of Starfield Raw, where we're like having to defend the game.
Yeah.
Where every corner you turn on the internet, someone is just taking a dump on the game, and it's just all these people having their shorts. There's full videos. There's like 2-3 hour videos that people have done of their live streams. People are out there. They're still enjoying the game. So don't let anybody tell you that this game is not relevant, because for those that love the game, like us, like me, like Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and it is an amazing game, and it still has a lot to offer. And now that I'm getting towards the end of the Tusk, Galwain's Tusk, I'm getting towards the end of it. I'm more invested in the game than ever.
I can't wait till they start adding more to it. They can easily. We've seen the map; it's huge, but we only play like maybe a third of it, if that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room for expansion there, and there's still stuff that I'm just discovering. Yeah, exactly. And I won't get into it because I didn't have a chance to dive into it, but I did find a video talking about mods in Avowed. Obviously, that drew my attention. I saved it to my watch later so that I can check it out. Obviously, we're talking about probably Nexus. We're probably talking about, PC, excuse me, on the PC side. But that got me excited because I just want to see what people are coming up with, because it's such a beautiful game.
Bethesda has actually a really proven theory on how to do mods across the board through consoles and PC. Other companies need to get on that board.
However, I also went through, and obviously I jumped a little because we had talked about bringing back another episode of Starfield Raw,
right? Because
I think we got the itchies, we got a feeling that something's coming out. So I had to dive back in. I had to reload all my creations. I had to go back in the creation store, and we'll talk about this on Starfield Raw, but there's some stuff happening over there with creations and mods and the way that Bethesda is handling them and how it's affecting the modding community. But we'll talk about that on the next episode of Starfield Raw when we get around to recording that one.
Yeah, it's just real life has been damping in the way of our recording schedule for that. So
yeah,
we'll get there. Yeah. It's on the list. We have notes. We actually have show notes created for it. So it's definitely past the planning phase.
Yes, it's in the works. It is in quote unquote production.
Yeah, exactly.
Pre-production.
Pre-production. We got to go in there and actually produce it. Like we're doing now.
Like we're doing this. Yeah.
Kilo brought up something that was really cool in our notes that I didn't know existed until you brought it up. And what was that?
Yeah. Oh, that is the that I'm freeforming, so I don't have my notes up. Hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just threw you on the bus right there.
On top of it. Yeah, I found and this has actually been around since at least December. And it is I'm looking at it is a skill calculator. Yes, Jesus Christ. We are on it. We're professionals of Obsidian, you can tell. And it's a skill calculator that somebody came up with to help you plan your builds. And you can import your builds, you can export builds, you can make adjustments and see how everything plays out. That is a really long address. How do I make this easy? Can we put this in the show notes this week, you think, maybe?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. It's by Spider Salad. Oku app, I don't know, Avowed skill calculator. There's a couple out there, but this is the top result that came up, and it's really cool and really helpful.
It works pretty good. I think the only problem that I always saw that might be an issue, well, they have them grayed out, is all the spells that you have to learn from a grimoire.
Oh, okay.
But if you unlock just the Grimoire Mastery, it upgrades them so you can see what that would be like. But you can't get these spells available until you unlock them with the Grimoire. But at least now you can see what it would be like if you were able to find them and get them, which eventually you will anyway. I found every single spell pretty early, so this is a really great tool.
Yeah. And do you want to talk about this now, or do you want to do playthroughs first?
Let's get into this. Let's do it.
Okay. So we saw that, and we started thinking about some different build ideas. Like, I think it was last episode I brought up that I wanted to build a paladin.
Right.
And how that would be a mix of the fighter and wizard classes. But so we came up with a few other ones that we think we would love to see.
Yeah, and figure out how to build them properly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it up briefly like 2 or 3 episodes ago as something as like an idea for us to do, and I've been thinking about it periodically since then. And I came up with some ideas that I think could work in the game actually, and could be successful. Like we mentioned the paladin, because that's the time when we were talking about the paladin was during that time frame.
Right.
Which I'm excited you're going to do that, because that's going to be really cool to see how that plays out.
I want to see how this brawler works out.
Yeah, and I was sitting there thinking, like, I was looking at the skill calculator, could this actually work? And yeah, it can. You could actually go like an unarmed brawler in this game.
Yeah.
And you could, from what I understand, you could be successful. Then I came across a build tier list that someone created on game8.co. And they created this list of builds. I think there's 12 builds that they came up with.
Okay.
And they rated them the usual S through C tier.
Oh, okay. It's one of those. Gotcha. Yeah.
I mean, the S tier is just your 2 basic wizard build and fighter build, but then they break down what they meant by that. And the wizard builds were very much like how I built my wizard.
Okay.
Using Wand and Grimoire and using mostly AoE spells on my hotbar.
AoE spells. Yeah.
Which I called the AoE Hell build.
Yeah.
And then they have, fighter and wizard. Okay, so fighter is just basically your basic sword and board, just focusing completely on strength and survivability.
Yeah.
Now your A tier, they go into basic ranger with an emphasis on critical damage. So pretty much what you've been doing.
Yep. Right. Yeah.
And then they came up with a wand. A wand build is A tier, where you dual wield wands, which is what Archon was doing.
Interesting.
Because there's some, if you look at the calculator, there's a lot of really cool wand upgrades you can do. It makes them pretty powerful. And they have Paladin as A tier.
Nice.
A hybrid melee and magic build that excels in tanking, combining your shield and defensive magic. And then you have your B tier. So this is one of the ones I was looking at. I had an idea for a red mage. So it's like your typical Final Fantasy red mage, where it was a cross between a fighter and a black mage.
Okay.
So offensive spell casting while dual wielding your weapons. And
see, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And one thing I was thinking about on the brawler build is if you did like a primary focus as unarmed, maybe you could have like a 2-hand weapon as your secondary.
Okay.
So
like a
warhammer.
Like a warhammer greatsword. Okay.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
So they put that as a spell blade, but as a B tier, and I don't really agree how they set it up, but it's interesting to say the least, and it's kind of what I was thinking for red mage. So I was thinking like dual swords, which is the classic red mage from Final Fantasy, but then focusing on a lot of single target based magic spells. Yeah. So just a single target destroyer of everything.
That's pretty sweet.
And I was wondering, could we do a type of a healers or companion build? Because there's a lot of skills that actually buff, and items even. Because a lot of these builds would actually require certain items in the game that you can get readily to make them work. And I think you could do a companion-based build and just buff the snot out of your companions and sit back and just support them while they do the bulk of the damage.
Right. See, that's the only thing with that is I would want to be able to handle the companions' weapons.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing you can't do in this game is, upgrade their weapons or their equipment.
Yeah, I wish we could.
And
that's one thing
I would want to be able to do that. If I'm going to rely on them to do the majority of the hitting, then I want them to hit hard, and they just really don't.
No, well, not without being buffed up.
Right.
I think there's a way you can, with certain items in the game, necklaces or trinkets and some rings that actually, and even some of your armor I've seen will have companion buffs on them.
I have to look into that. I think maybe I'd like to do that for a future episodes. Maybe if we can find something like a really good build that's just like
we're gonna have to do a challenge build. Let's do a challenge game.
Oh my god!
These days.
Yeah, we haven't done that for this one, have we?
No. And if you guys have any ideas, they're listeners of a good challenge, Drop it in our
Oh,
Discord.
they'll come up with something.
Yeah.
They'll come up with something. They've come up with some killer ones
Brutal
in the past
ones.
for Starfield Raw.
I'm still working on my
let's
dual wield challenge character.
Yeah, let's make Wigit just use nothing but pistols.
Oh, it was dual. It was just straight pistols. Ugh.
It was just straight pistols.
The complete opposite of what I do.
Yeah. You know what else I would like to see? I think would be really cool.
What's that?
And I don't know if it can necessarily be done, but I would love to see like a rogue assassin build.
With like
Just
dual wielding? I
stealth,
think it can.
Stealth, melee, just sneaking up and just doing crazy. See, the only catch about that is that usually with one hit, you get everybody's attention in the area, whether you're visible or not. All of a sudden, you take one swing at something.
You want to build it to where your first target you kill instantly. Then either you run away and vanish, like I do all the time with my current sniper, or you focus massively on dexterity. So you want the fastest attacking speed you can get and just be a blur of motion.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I'd love to hear what some of our listeners have. Check out our Discord, discord.gg/raw podcasts. We have a bunch of channels dedicated specifically to Avowed Raw. Go in there and let us know what your favorite builds are. We'd love to see.
Yeah, and then give us a good challenge build to go with.
Yeah, yep.
Another one I had an idea for was a warlock. So
a warlock.
Yeah, so you stack your health like crazy. And I forgot what stat is that. That does your health.
Toughness.
The bottom one.
Is it toughness?
I don't remember. I'm so prepared.
It was toughness.
But you stack your health like crazy, and the health and intellect, that's the two primary focus. And then there's an entire school of siphoning magic. So you just use those spells while focusing on your health, and I think you could be pretty unstoppable because you could use those spells to heal this massive health pool you have.
That sounds so wicked.
Then you got your typical like pyromancer and things like that.
Well, yeah, but you're warlock. You're onto something because based on the story and your interactions with Sapidal throughout the game, you are kind of like more a warlock than anything else.
True.
Especially if you take her gifts. And actually, from like a D&D perspective of what a warlock usually is, what their patron usually is, Sapidal is almost like a D&D warlock patron, more than a god or anything else.
It's true,
in my opinion. Anyways,
no, I think you're right on that. Oh yeah, and one of the things they also mentioned, they have a gunslinger build. Okay, so they have your basic dual wield, which is kind of like we were talking about, but not quite. Just focusing on fast attacking, prioritizing, if I can talk straight, high single target DPS with dodge and evade. But the way you were talking about with the assassin would be more stealth combined with that, which I think would be a lot of fun to play. Actually, they have gunslinger, which is dual wielding pistols and the Aquabus, and they have gun mage.
A gun mage.
Yeah, a hybrid ranger with grimoire pistol in one of your builds and your rifle in your secondary weapon, and deal both AoE and single target damage. That could be pretty cool.
God, that would be a lot of fun. I would.
They listed that as
difficulty, man. Yeah. I would have to crank it up.
I don't know. It gets hard when you get into hard mode. It does.
That's what I need, man. I'm in normal and I'm just laying waste.
Yeah, I got that way near the end of the game too. It was just too easy just to AoE everything dead. Then they have C tier, and one of the ones they have here is a summoner build, which I can see that happening. And they mentioned that you have to have certain items, like the Beetleworks Bulwark, the Necropants, the Crystalline Egg, the Stone Heart, and then combine it with the Ranger's Bear ally, and you can have a swarm of allies with you.
That's actually really cool. I love the idea of that one. And the bear is awesome. I have the bear.
He's on my list to get.
He's sweet. Yeah. Yep. He's sweet.
They mentioned unarmed build.
Yeah.
You did what?
Oh no, I was just gonna say that I did finally upgrade the quick draw?
Yeah.
Or the quick switch of the weapons. I finally broke down because I had like an extra point. I'm like, I don't know what to put this in. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll top this one off. I did that one in the bear. That's why it came up into my brain.
Fair enough.
I got the bear maxed out too.
And the last one they put in there under the C tier was a poison build. So constantly doing on damage over time or dot abilities.
See, that would also be really cool in like large groups of enemies.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. You just start popping one after the other, and eventually
they focus on that with like a warlock build too. Is put a little bit of extra points into poisoning.
Yeah,
and that's what they do in most games. They're based on dot damage.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds really cool.
So yeah, this was a pretty cool little site that has it. Is there any other ideas we can come up with?
I was just thinking about that.
I was going through my brain of like all different classes I played in different RPGs, thinking about it.
You could do a Kai, which is kind of like a swashbuckler, like gun in one hand, sword in the other.
Oh yeah, that's swashbuckler build. There you go.
Yeah, that's actually the best D&D character I ever made was a swashbuckler.
Oh, there's got to be some way of doing like a two-handed spellcaster. So you're just doing two-handed weaponry. We didn't talk about two-handed builds at all.
That's right, we didn't. Well, once you get the spells from the grimoire, you don't need the grimoire.
Mm-hmm,
so can you? I'm assuming you can cast spells then with a two-handed weapon.
Yeah, you have them on your hotbar.
That's like amazing.
That could be pretty amazing.
It's like a freaking greatsword. You just lay waste to everybody, and whoever's still standing gets the greatsword. Oh, that
just
sounds
stack
like fun.
Everything in intellect and strength, and just go to town.
Right, just go crazy. That's amazing.
So focus on warrior and mage. Yeah, that'd be fun. That's on my to-do list.
There you go. We got some healing spells under wizard. You could maybe do a cleric where you focus on
That's
healing
what I was thinking
spells
about the healer too, because you could do that, and you also have your healing spell you get from your godlike.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I think it's very possible, and you got trinkets stuff like that will help with that as well. So yeah,
I got a lot of good ones there.
Cool combinations you can actually come up with.
Yeah.
Let's get this conversation going again. Get it going on our Discord. I want to hear some ideas and come up with some good challenges for us to do.
Heck yeah.
Let's get into our plays. I'm really curious about how your week went, man.
My week went pretty good. My week was mostly dealing with the Steel Garrote.
Oh yeah.
And chasing down Inquisitor Ludwin.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I need to, because when you had, what was the name of that novice that you run into at the monastery? The Living Archives, right?
Yeah.
You get that one little chick that's like, hey, give me the book that you find, this one book.
Yeah, the trader
book. And then you said, and you found out that through conversation that she ends up giving that to the Steel Garrote.
Yep.
Now, I did not do that, but after like going through the mines, chasing down Ludwin, and the conversation that follows at the Solace Keep, it was heavily implied, if not outright said, that the reason that the Steel Garrote has a jump on the entrance to the garden is because they were reading the local literature, right? The text and everything. Like that's how they figured it out. But I didn't give them that book, so does that make that interaction with that novice monk arbitrary?
You're right. That is like a what do they call that in writing? I'm a published author. It's a consistency error, continuity error. Yep. And yes, Wigit is published. He's got 2 great books out, and his 3rd he's currently working on. So go check those out. You can look them up on Amazon. Emperor of Continia.
There it is. So I thought that was kind of like messed up, because and that was like the point where I had actually said in the episode, I'm like, what is it with these arbitrary moral choices? And it wasn't really arbitrary at the time until I saw physically with my own eyes that, oh yeah, it didn't matter whether I gave that book or not. The Steel Garrote still had the information that they were looking for. So, I mean, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. If I am, the internet will correct me.
Yeah, maybe, because I don't know if they had another way of getting the book or what, but from my experience, they shouldn't have been able to. And I thought that was weird too, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. It's like, especially after like you can save the entire town of Fior by taking out the garrison before they reach it. Like some things seem to have an impact, and I don't know. It was just weird. I don't want to like just beat a dead horse over it. But the conversation with Ludwin, you eventually get to Ludwin. It seemed, for everything leading up to this point in the game, it seemed extremely binary, because you get to a point where either you support Ludwin's point of view, and she wants to destroy Sapidel and her loyalties to the Empire, or you betray the Empire completely by releasing Sapidel, even though that's supposed to, up to that point, as far as you know, up to this point, because this is where I'm at. I haven't gone any further yet. You probably have a different perspective, but
I do.
Either way, it's supposed to end the Dream Scourge, either by releasing Sapidel or by destroying her, because you find out that, Sapidel, it's like a reflex. The Dream Scourge is a reflex of the Living Lands being invaded. And because she has trauma from, when her
being
followers before locked her away. Exactly. So it all gets a little bit murky in there for me. Obviously, I'm like, I actually had to get to a point. I'm like, okay, I need to think about this, because I want to make sure that I'm making the decision that my character would make.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, Yeah, so I, was like, hey, let's ask my companions. And Giada was very neutral about her answer. And then it was funny. It was like, basically, she destroyed an entire town. So I would be very hesitant to agree with anything she says. And then I'm like, all right, cool. And I think I saved the voice option on my screenshot. Is like, tell the burning queen who sent you. It's like attack. And Yahtzee was like, that seems like it was a bit extreme. I'm like, well, I mean, you basically broke the tie. So yeah. So anyways, I start blasting. Now the interesting thing about that fight, and I don't know if I'm necessarily crazy about the way they handled it, but it was kind of cool because Sapidal basically like calls the dream thralls in the area to where you are, and they will fight you and the Steel Garrote. So you're fighting them, Ludwin's fighting them, and then you're trying to fight Ludwin and her people, or actually it's just Ludwin because her people get wiped out. And it was kind of a cool battle. And the biggest thing is this the fight where you said that you had that glitch where the enemy froze up on you?
It was actually the Ludwin fight.
The Ludwin fight, okay.
Yep.
Because the only thing that Ludwin had that threw me at all during that fight was the fact that every once in a while she would just like shoot like super fast across the battlefield. So
That's
she would change
all she
positions.
did with me though. She wouldn't attack me at all.
Oh really? Yeah.
So they're holding her sword up, and she would just vanish and
okay.
reappear. That's it.
Well, she tried to hit me. She tried her best. But even when she hit me, it's like I'm losing no health point. This is what I'm talking about. Like at this point in the game, and I've been playing on normal this entire time, it's just a breeze. And I think all I had to do was just kind of scoot around, dodge, kind of like in a circle. Oh, there's a Dream Thrall. I'll take him out. Take some more shots at Ludwin. That was it. I had her done before the rest of the Dream Thralls in the area.
That's the thing. I didn't even have Dream Thralls.
Oh, really?
It was nothing. She was just sitting there, never even attacked me but one time, the very beginning. She attacked me once, and that was it.
Yeah.
And she would vanish and hold her sword. It was completely
You didn't have the
bugged
Dream
out.
Thralls come rushing in.
Nope.
Weird.
By far the easiest fight I ever had in the game.
Yeah, I bet.
And really
I had a hell
disappointing.
of a time. I had more trouble with the Dream Thrall bear at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I did her.
Well,
I'm doing
also
stupid damage at this point.
That's when you're in the beginning of the game, so you don't have much.
And I don't even know where to put my points anymore. At this point in the game, like when I get my points for my ability scores and stuff, I'm like, I don't know. Let's drop another one in perception or dexterity or whatever. Agility, whatever.
Just doing it.
I store it wherever. Like it doesn't, like it doesn't even matter. I'm like, all right, I'll take a little more critical. All right, I'll take a little more, long distance shooting. And I did have similar bugs in that area, especially with what was it? The beetles.
Oh yeah.
I did have a few instances. Yeah, when I had the giant beetles, I'd have like 3 or 4 of them, and they're all just sitting there. They weren't doing nothing. They were just sitting there.
Maybe it's that area.
I don't know. Maybe it might be something. And then even then, like my normal shots wouldn't touch them at all, but my power shots would.
Oh, that's even weirder.
But only if I was shooting them at like a certain angle. Yeah, it was super bizarre. I was wondering if that was connected to the same issue you were having, but it sounds like it's not exactly the same. But,
no, but close enough.
Yeah. So. So yeah, Ludwin fight wasn't shit. I was disappointed with that one. Yeah, it just wasn't. It was. I mean, the banter was kind of fun. Like the whole conversation. Ludwin as a villain, I feel, is a very entertaining character from like a writer's perspective, like a narrative perspective. Super cool villain. I really wish they'd have done more with her in her battle. Like I just wish it would have been harder.
More to it. Yeah, I get that.
But more to it. You know what I mean?
There's also more. I can't say anything without spoiling anything, so I'm not going to, but it's just...
Does that have anything to do with the fact that Yahtzee made the comment like, she did die and come back once already?
Maybe.
Okay, great. Understood. I go to... You know what? I don't even realize anything's happening. I kind of do. Sapidal had that big old temper tantrum and she blew up the volcano. Now the volcano's erupting.
Yeah.
But I don't really realize anything's happening until I get to. I'm like, okay, I gotta go back to Solace Keep. I go back to Solace Keep, and on the way in, it's like all these people are watching this volcano erupt, and like, oh, the lava's rising. I'm like, oh, it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh shit. Well, that sounds like a problem. That sounds like a you problem because you guys are so nice to me.
Right.
But
you guys have been such friendly, awesome people.
So this was the point where I finally went back, because since last time we talked about this, This is the first time I'd been back to Silas Keep because I was looking for that blacksmith. You said that the blacksmith that has a special rifle and
and the sword,
whatnot, right?
From the star metal.
Did not see it because I found him. I went downstairs. I found him, but this is all hell breaking loose. And he was there, but he had an inventory, and I bought a few things. I sold a bunch of stuff, but I did not see any of the star metal stuff there.
Well, no, because you have to. It's a conversation that you have to take with him. If you have the star metal in your inventory,
the goddamn converse, son of a bitch.
You mentioned the fact that you have star metal. Ask him if he can do anything with it, and he goes, "Yeah, in fact, I can."
Sweet. Anyways, here's the problem with that. Yeah. Here's the problem with that. So you go through the whole thing. You see the lady ambassador, or whatever her name is, your biggest fan in Galwain's Tusks. And you have the whole conversation. You know, we of course they knew about the secret entrance to the garden this entire time. And
naturally, come on, like
they've been trying to protect blah 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 blah.
It's like some big secret.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to go after Kostya, of course, the guy, and so I go down there, and there's like this super short conversation, and I don't know. I killed him. I end up taking him out. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, I knew that you're trying to like fix stuff in Galwain's. You're trying to get your people out of here. You don't want them trapped here anymore. Blah blah blah. But you're threatening to kill like thousands of people. That's counterproductive to what we were doing, and whatever. End up in a fight. He took one shot from my arquebus. That was it. It was a wrap. And then I'm like, oh, what's this? And I turn around, and it's got like that clockwork wall that's on the one side, right?
Yeah.
And apparently you're not supposed to destroy that because that ruins the gates that are supposed to release the lava. I didn't even read. It's just like my thumb just hit the X button, and then it broke. And I'm like, oh, great.
Here's the thing. I did that on purpose.
Screwed. Did you?
Yes. I wanted the keep to be destroyed because I wanted to free the people so they can... Because you go around that entire zone, they're like, well, we wish we could just be free to go do our own thing and wander around and like we used to do back in the ancient times.
Right.
They're like, yeah, I'll just destroy the keep and, let them go. Well, that was one of the things that prevented me from getting one of the best endings.
Oh, jeez. Okay, that was not the goal. Yeah, I hit it. I'm like, oh, no.
Well, that's actually kind of... All right, well... It's actually a gray area because it depends on how you look at it. Because it could be good because they are free to start roaming around. Yeah. But then they say a couple things in the ending that makes me think, well, maybe it wasn't the best idea. But you'll get there. You'll see that part anyway because you did the same thing just by accident.
Right. I'll see. Yeah, it was completely by accident. I was like, all right, well, I was trying to stop him from doing it, and then I did it, and okay, let's get out of here. So I'm headed down to the tunnels right now to the, I guess, whatever, the secret tunnel to the garden or whatever. That's where I saved. So that's it for my week.
Just getting into the 5th zone.
I'm getting there, right on the edge.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait till you get in that zone. It's gonna be interesting.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you're gonna have an easy time with the guys in there, or if you have a hard time like I did. But I wasn't built for single target like you are, so it's probably gonna be a lot easier for you. I'm willing to bet it.
Well, when you go single target and you got Giada and Yatsley who do AOE and shield and healing, like,
yeah, I think you're pretty good.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could actually change the difficulty of the game midway, or if you're stuck on that difficulty. I never looked.
I'm going to check it out, and I will let you know next episode, because I think I'm going to kick it up a notch.
Yeah, I managed to do the entire spider den, the first actual dungeon.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. I did that thing entirely in stealth and one-shot everything except the boss spider.
Really?
Yeah, I was so proud of myself. I did something completely stealth.
Nice. That's awesome.
And Kai didn't go run and charge ahead like a moron and tell the big spider. Because I killed everything on one shot. And when I took out one spider, if there was more than one spider in the room, I took one out, and the other ones were just got that alarm over their head that they know something's up, but I was still stealth. So I still got the bonus and took out every spider with one shot.
Nice. That's
the
badass,
boss
dude.
Was a little bit more of a pain. I did get my first stealth shot in there and took her about halfway down. And the rest of the fight was just your typical running, dodging, and shooting as much as I could. I did take down 3 of the bounties. My voice wants to go out, so forgive me.
No problem.
The repercussions of being sick. I did take out 3 of the bounties before I got, AKA killed and then brought back to life. So before I got to the city. And I tried to milk that as long as I could without going to the city. I even went around the entire city several times looking for an alternate route to get in.
Yeah.
To avoid, seeing if I could actually avoid dying. And there's that side gate, but they won't let you through no matter what you do.
Oh.
Like, that'd be really cool if you could skip the part where you get killed. But I could see how that would make the story go a little bit wonky, because that's dying is what reveals Sabbatl to you, that type thing.
Yeah, it's a motivational drive for your character.
And it would completely bypass like half of that zone trying to hunt down your murderer.
Right.
So no, I didn't find a way in. So you can't get past it. Confirmed.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, there you go. I think that stealth is a little bit broken in this game. As in, not the good way of being broken, but the bad way.
What do you mean?
I was up on a cliff, a long ways away from a large group of targets, and I was behind a massive rock where I could not see them. And yet, they were able to see me, and then they would lose me. Then they would see me again, and they would lose me, and they'd see me again, so I could never get my health back up.
Weird.
And I was way too far away. I couldn't see them at all, and there should be no way they were able to see me, but they kept seeing me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just that area or the open area. It made it really difficult.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of weird things with the environment, haven't we? So every once in a while, we hit just a sweet spot of crap.
It's like the second or third time out in the open that's happened to me in the first zone so far.
Oh, man.
And every now and then I'll be able to be stealthy and get up close to somebody and kill them, but it kind of sucks. I have to get in close, and yet the enemy archers can still do max damage at a huge distance with the bow when I do less than 50% the same distance.
That's some crap.
Yeah, I tested that theory out, especially on hard mode. It kicks your butt. So I was sitting there dodging, going behind rocks, letting stealth drop, going back out, taking a shot, dodging.
Yeah.
You know that one fight that I didn't do the bounty my first playthrough because it was too difficult, and it was the yellow bands? Yeah, the yellow bands.
Yeah, the yellow bands.
There's so many of them in there.
Yeah. It's a very close space with lots of bears.
Yep. And there's a path up on the mountain right outside of it, which gives you a nice little sniper advantage. It overlooks the entire camp.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was just in the right range, and I used the annoyance of Kai to good use.
Fair enough.
I knew he was going to run in like a lunatic, going at superhuman speeds, going in there to attack him. And I knew that judging by where the enemies were and where he would wind up, it would be right in my sweet range, where I still get maximum damage while still being far away. So I took out one of their archers, let Kai run in, start beating on him. So I start picking off the bears and those other guys that are fighting with him until he dies. I go back into stealth. He re-pops up, and I go do the same thing again. Took out one at a time that entire way through it, and I took out everybody except one bear because it wouldn't go in within range of me. So I dropped down there with Kai, took out the last bear, and just walked around camp picking up everything.
Nice.
It took longer, but I was able to kill him.
Sure.
And I did not get hurt, except for the archers.
There you go.
Other archers were hurting me pretty good.
I want to find that overlook.
Yeah, it's
interesting how they gave you that option to kind of like approach things a little bit differently depending on how you're geared up, man.
Yeah, I went around looking for it, trying to see if there was a way we could do that, and sure enough, and it was actually a very clear overlook with a rock outcropping, and it was very easy for me to go back into stealth and run back to the side of the road, and they would lose sight of me. And 10 seconds later, they drop stealth, they drop it, and they go reset. And then back into it, yeah. And then right after I finished the yellow bands, and it was even before I went and got killed, Kai trained me. No, it was right after I got killed, when I went to camp to do his little conversation with him. It gave me the option to have Kai train me.
Okay. Cool.
That was earlier than the last time I did it. I'm not even halfway done with the zone. He's already trained me, and I got 2 might.
Did you go through and do all of his conversations and stuff?
I did, yeah. I wanted to try that out.
That's part of our theory, yeah.
Yep. It worked. I was able to do it.
Nice.
Oh, I'm trying to remember what that... I have it on my notes. I got Ralga stuck, to where I just sat there and put 20 or 30 arrows into his face until he died. I don't remember who Ralga was.
Oh, look that up real quick.
Ralga... Oh, right, the ogre, my last bounty.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I found an overlook that goes... He has this little cave right there with a pond in front of it. And there's a little overlook that has a little opening right inside of his cave.
Nice.
I was able to sit there and pot shot him, and he was stuck not knowing what to do. So as he just stood there, I just filled him up with arrows. He dropped. I went down and looted him.
Nice.
That's how I'm surviving on hard mode with this build. I'm just trying to be clever with how I approach
that's the way
things.
To do it. Yeah. Oh,
I did the Watcher quest, and I finally found out how to do the coin. Remember I talked about how there's this NPC before you get to the Watcher's house. He gives you a coin after you talk to him.
Coin to toss into the water, yeah.
And it's a tradition. After you get red, you have to go and place the coin in there. Well, I found a spot that had like 30 or 40 coins in it. Wound up looting them all as I was looking for how to throw mine in. So I wound up taking every coin there. And there was this tiny little spot when I looked at a slight right angle at the water. It gave me the option to use coin.
Wait.
And then did nothing after that. So I don't know yet if there was an actual reason for that or if I just wasted my time. Well, I got a little more money.
I thought you were supposed to get something for that.
Yeah, like it was good luck or something like that. I thought, maybe I'll get a luck boost.
Oh, like a luck boost, yeah.
I don't know. I might have. I maybe didn't look far enough into my character sheet, but I didn't see anything yet. And I'm still debating on how I want to play this character. I'm at a point right now. I didn't make this choice yet because I'm like stuck. I don't know how if I want to make him, like I originally said, being this like imperial assassin who's all about the empire, and
right,
because I'm at a choice where you have this couple in the slums that you talk to that you have to get their land deed, and then eventually and you get this plant to heal her husband's sight. Then they want you to talk to smugglers who are trying to charge them double. Now, the first time I played this game, I don't remember this option, but it gave me the option to where I can go turn them in because they're wanted by the Empire.
Shit. Oh.
Yeah.
So you're debating on whether or not you want to do that.
I actually stopped outside of the place, the Steel Garrote headquarters, to turn them in because I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it or not.
Right.
Because it goes so much against my nature to turn them in like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of choices like that. I think that's part of that's kind of the bitch of it. Because I'm thinking about some of the choices I made early in the game that were like, all right, if you do this, you're obviously Empire. Like, oh, the Empire says this is illegal. I'm like, yeah, but morally, it should be okay, regardless of what the Empire thinks. I guess, I don't know, am I chaotic good in that case?
Yeah, I guess so.
And yeah, so it's like, man, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt to try to be a bad guy.
I'm gonna wait until I talk to Kilo. I'm gonna see if that can help change my mind what I want to do with this, because I have no idea. I'm just frozen in decision.
I mean, you got to commit.
I do. It's gonna be one way or the other. Because if I do this, I'm gonna commit fully to it. And if I don't do it, I need to commit the other way. Yeah, and I already played the other way, so I'm thinking that I might just have to suck it up and do it just to see what happens.
Yep.
And then
just
go with
your inner bad guy.
Yeah, and side with the Steel Garrote later on, and just be the Empire's right-hand man. Yeah. I'm going to give it a shot. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just suck it up and do it. Oh, I found out something very interesting. We had to talk about this a long time ago on the show.
Okay.
Because it was me and Archon were talking about it. We were kind of arguing about it a little bit. But when you turn in your bounties, all 5 bounties of his own, you get a unique item. We were wondering if I was pretty sure that it was randomized. But Archon was saying that he was pretty sure it was fixed.
Right.
It's not fixed. I looked it up all over the internet, and everywhere says the same thing. Is from a random pool of uniques on what you get.
Oh, okay. Well, shit, there you go.
What I turned in and got from this time was way different than what I got last time. Because last time I got a weapon that I didn't use because it was like a dagger or something like that. This time it was a trinket that was 100% useless. I got the Kith Warder. It does plus 10% damage reduction against Kith and minus 10% reduction against everything else.
Yeah.
So pretty much situational.
I had that one for a minute. I got rid of it.
Yeah, it's junk.
Yeah, it's your it's just your luck widget.
Yeah, that's how it works. And I found out that there are some areas where you can get uniques every time. They are 100% bound, but there's certain areas like chests and the bounties where it's randomized.
Well, you see, next playthrough, you're going to play a red wizard or some shit, and you're going to come across that same scenario, and they're going to give you like the most badass bow.
Oh, jeez, that pissed me off. Oh, I spent so much time just upgrading my bow to the blue tier quality, getting it off of the basic tier, and that would piss me off. I don't think I found but maybe one unique bow the entire playthrough of my first character, which got me worried. Really? Yeah.
I'm trying to think how many. I found a couple.
I can't
name
really
them
nice
off the top of my head because I just break them down. But.
Yeah. I got some really nice, unique medium armor, and I was going to write it down so I could talk about it, but I forgot. But it's really nice, and it's got interesting stats. And I was also thinking, because I was seeing a lot of these, some of the gear has randomized secondary abilities. So, like parkour speed, for instance.
Yeah.
It can appear on multiple different types of items on a random chance. And I think parkour speed is by far the most useless stat in the game.
I don't think it's really, yeah.
How does it matter if I'm gonna get up a cliff 10% faster?
I haven't, yeah, I haven't come across any situation which the thing that pops into mind is like Aladdin,
Yeah.
right? When they're in the Cave of Wonders and Abu touches the ruby
And
and
you gotta get out there as
like a
fast as you
situation
can.
like
Yeah.
that where you gotta like, yeah, like, okay, maybe that would matter then. But for the most part,
I haven't seen that situation in this game yet.
the only
I
thing
don't
I
think.
think is if you're like a strict melee build and you're trying like people are just like raining down hell on you from like building tops or cliffs or something and you want to get up there super fast, that might appeal to you and or
I
maybe you
mean,
just like parkour.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I just did not see an issue with that. I did not see a utility for that.
Yeah.
Now, if it was like
Yeah.
parkour jump distance or something like that, that could be very, very useful.
Yeah.
But
That
going
would
up,
actually be extremely useful.
saving 10 seconds on climbing doesn't appeal to me.
Nah.
Like most of the things I find have parkour speed on them. It's kind of like in Starfield, how I always got that spacer one,
Right.
space
The
adept,
Space Adept, yep, on a sniper rifle.
completely, or bashing on a sniper rifle. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, it's my luck in life. That's the way it works. I expect the worst and you get the worst. The last thing I wanted to bring up was while I was talking to the ambassador, I had the option, and so I found this very amusing. It was a dexterity check
Okay.
because I built a lot of dexterity in my character right now, and it said slip a few coins from his purse while he talked.
Yeah.
Of course, I clicked
I
on
did
it.
that.
Yeah, and it was
I
so
did that.
amusing when the camera pans on my character just sitting there nodding. You see his hand slip in really quick. He just starts talking. Pulled out 100 coins. Like, okay, that's cool.
Nice.
That amused the
Oh
living
man,
crap out of
I
me. I did
remember
not know that was
yeah.
an option. Probably because
Yeah.
I didn't meet the dexterity check on my other character.
Right. I was shooting up the dexterity pretty early on, so
It makes me wonder just how much things like that did I miss in the game because I didn't go certain routes. Probably a ton.
you know what it says to me? It says to me that we need an NG plus. We need an NG plus game where we can take all of our stats from the previous playthrough and come back and do it again, and we can see all these other options that we didn't get to see the first time.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to officially announce it on the show. I am going to do full A-hole, Empire A-hole. I'm sticking to it.
You're committing. You're
It's committed.
sign your name on the dotted line.
It's done. That's what's going to happen. And this episode has been a lot of fun, actually. And I can't wait to try out some of these other build ideas. But I'm going to get through the game, and I'm really hoping that it gets easier with my stealth as I, progress the skill tree.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, like, what was I doing? I did Tanglefoot. I have Marksman. I have a point in Scavenger. And I believe I put a point in Toughness as well to increase my health in Fighter.
Yep. Okay. Solid start.
Yeah, so I'm getting there. I'm level 6, I think, or 7.
Yeah.
So I didn't play as much as I wanted to this weekend because I got sick, and Minecraft kind of stole half of my weekend.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm gonna get into it more, and I'm hoping to be well into the second zone by next episode.
Well, by that point, we should see you should start seeing some real boosts in your character's performance.
That's what I'm thinking.
With
when I
in
start
terms
finally
of stealth and
getting
damage that you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I only have a necklace on right now. I don't have any rings yet. I haven't found any.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of open room to grow. So we'll see how that happens, and I expect to hear about the ending from you soon.
I'm working on it, man.
You're getting there.
I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
And you got like 1.5 zones to go, basically.
Yep. Yeah. Pretty much based on what you guys have said. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really eager to hear about what you decided to do at the end, and when I can talk about like how I was able to avoid the entire last fight entirely just by talking him to death.
Yeah. Friggin', what was it? 15.
Plus 15 intellect check.
Plus, yeah.
I mean, there was several checks throughout that entire process that I had to meet, and it just blew my mind that I had the exact amount I needed to do it.
Yeah. That's freaking cool.
And it wound up being very cool. So we'll get into that when you get to that point. Until then, I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yep.
And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. Is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to remind everybody to go ahead and shoot over our Discord. We talk about more than just Avowed. We have a Starfield channel in there, and we have a bunch of other stuff. We got fitness nerd channel. We got a food nerd channel. I'm pretty sure there's a channel where you can just show off your dogs.
Yep.
There's all sorts of stuff. So go ahead and join us and give us a challenge and tell us about your builds for the game, what you guys have done. And that's discord.gg/raw podcast.
You can put that in your browser, whether you should be using Chrome. That's the only one to use. And you hit enter, and it takes you right there and says, you want to join this server? And you say yes, and you're there.
That's it.
Unless you don't have a Discord account, then you got to create one, but it's free. Why not?
It's easy.
We have our server maxed out, boosted, so you can go in there and have fun.
Yep.
All right, so you can reach any of our shows through our Gmail account, so our email account for any kind of business, advertising, interviews, suggestions for the show that you want to not post publicly, podcastraw@gmail.com. But you can also individually message us on Discord as well. And our Facebook is Raw Podcasts. Our Instagram
is Raw Podcast 1.
And our Twitter, aka X, is @Avowed RAW. And no, I have not done anything on it yet. Sorry. You can follow us individually as well. I am at the Wigit, THEWIGIT.
And I am at Kilo Tango 1122.
Have a fantastic week shooting everything in the ass out there. Make it count.
Peace out.